Hello. If you're a creator, you've seen all these success stories like this creator is making so much of money, this creator is living the dream life that most people only can think of, and you always wanted to be like them. But here is what the harsh reality: most creators are just broke. Today we're going to talk about the truth that most people don't talk about the creator economy. The truth that could be a difference between the success and the failure. I've been creating content online forever, and I could understand what they mean that most creators are broke. If you're a creator or you want to be a creator, I don't want to be a broke creator for sure. So let's understand the creator economy boom in India, the income disparity among Indian creators, the dark reality of sponsorship deals, the whole algorithm trap, and how creators are just tied to getting views and followers and likes and not actually making money. Alright, let's get started. The Indian creator economy is definitely on the rise. With over 80 million people identifying as creators, it's expected to be worth 2,200 crores by 2025. What the fuck? While the whole industry is growing, the truth is most creators do not make any money. In fact, most creators cannot build a sustainable income for themselves. But the irony is most people want to be a creator. I'm like, okay, nice. If I can read the numbers, 70% of Indian creators earn less than 10,000 per month from their content. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than that. I mean, the percentage of creators, not the income. 10,000, that's not even enough to cover the basic expense. If you want to hire an editor, you would spend more than 10,000 at least. I remember when I started creating content, I used to edit all my videos, spend all the time on scripting, and then it takes like 5 to 10 hours to push out one piece of content. And I did it for straight 1.5 years. Got no views. Apparently, I was also broke. When I started making my first 10,000 rupees online, the very first thing that I did was, my friend was interested in editing. I'm like, hey, can you edit my videos? I'll just give all the money that I've been making. Because I know if I can hire an editor, which means I can free up at least 5 hours per day, which definitely would help me make more content, which definitely helped me make more money. If you're a content creator that has nothing to do with editing, I would strongly suggest you to outsource it first, because that is the #1 time consuming effort that you would put. But in the long term, you definitely don't want to be an editor. If so, then why edit your videos yourself? You want to improve your editing skill? No, right? But if you're an editor who makes content, you definitely have to spend time on editing, because that's what you're preaching to the world. But for others, it's not necessary. Here is another stat. 60% of the Indian creators earn less than 1,000 per month from their content. This means that vast majority of the creators in India are not making enough money to even support themselves, which basically means we are all fighting for the same time that the audience have. Think about in this way. We all have 24 hours. We all can give maybe 4-5 hours max to consume content. And just for that 4-5 hours, the whole millions of people are just fighting to get their time from you. And the more the creator economy grows, the more people fight for the same finite time that people have, which definitely creates competition. And I can feel it that you cannot compete with the person who dances in the road trying to get attention. And here you are trying to preach people or educate people and compete with the guy who dances. It's very zero-sum game, I would say. That's why I always say, if you're a creator, you should not optimize for likes, followings, and the numbers on your dashboard, because that can be achieved by someone with less effort, with less time. Someone gets more views just because their character is charming, and you cannot compete with that. I've spoken to a lot of creators with over 1 million following online, and they all feel bad for the route they've taken, just optimizing their content for likes, followings, and shares. It's great if the whole views gets converted into leads, but not many people optimize their content for getting leads. And most creators realize this very lately. By the time they realize, it's already late. They've spent so much of time optimizing for this stupid thing that don't even mean anything, and regret it later. And yeah, speaking of sponsorship, while 65% of Indian creators depend on brand deals, 55% of them earn less than 5,000 per month from these collaborations. That's bad. This creates a cycle where creators are forced to produce content continuously to secure brand deals. And if you're forced to create content hoping that a brand would collaborate with you, that definitely creates a burnout. And nowadays you see most creators post videos saying, hey, I feel depressed, I feel sad, all this. because they're definitely burnt out. And while you're sitting here and thinking, maybe I want to grow big as a creator, a lot of creators are leaving the economy. And that got me thinking why it's a common pattern among creators that most people are just burnt out. And it's definitely because of the algorithm. Or I definitely don't complain about the algorithm. It's just creators who take algorithm very seriously, I would say. The moment you follow what the algorithm says or how the algorithm works, you will never catch up with the algorithm. The first time you feel like, oh yeah, I've cracked the algorithm. And the next time the algorithm changes and you're like, okay, I'm gonna keep up with the algorithm. And the third time, fourth time, and by the time you reach 10th time of you chasing the algorithm, you're burnt out. So why all this happens? Why people just, do anything just to get brand deals? First of all, getting a lot of brand deals in the same niche puts you in a place where you lose reputation. For example, as a creator, I can only endorse a brand of a specific industry that solves a specific problem. The moment I choose a different brand that solves the same problem and endorse in one of the videos, people will be like, Rahul, you're endorsing competitors in a different video. Which one are you supporting? And then the moment I do that, I lose the reputation. So as a creator, you obviously have this limitation of working with brands. Yeah, you can take up all the brands that just come along your way, but then you lose the reputation. The conversion goes low. The more you promote different brands, people are like, what are you supporting, Rahul? That's why I personally don't work with a lot of brands. I just pick one that I feel that I can endorse anyway, even if they don't pay. I only work with such brands. So I don't have to optimize my content just to get brand deals. So that way, the chances of me getting burned out is actually less. I've personally spoken to 100 plus creators in the last 6 months for my company called campus.io, which helps creators / experts / coaches to make money online by building their paid community. I realized that I understood that most creators don't have a strategy to monetize, or they don't have a clear goal on what to sell. Should I sell a course? Should I sell a community? Should I sell a consulting call? In fact, very small percentage of the creators actually have a monetization plan that helps them make money. Rest, they're just confused and then they don't make any money because they're just overthinking. One good example is I have spoken to one guy. He has like 78k followers in Instagram and he makes content around UI, UX design and all that. By the way, his content is so good. You know what he is selling? He's just selling something for $4.99, some PDF or some shit. He puts so much of effort in creating all this amazing content. He obviously wants to monetize his audience, but then the way he chose to monetize audience is just kind of dumb for me. So what's the solution for this? It's very high time that you stop optimizing for likes and shares and comment and all this fancy thing that doesn't mean anything. You should just stop chasing algorithm. Like, first of all, who defines algorithm? You wouldn't know. I don't want you to blame the algorithm just because your videos doesn't get views. It's just kind of stupid. It's very high time that you have to focus on providing actual value to your audience and build a business around something that you are passionate about. Because think in this way, instead of promoting this stupid brand that you yourself don't use for a long time and then lose reputation over the time, you can just focus on selling something that you think that your audience loves to buy from you. If you actually try to provide value to your audience, they would definitely love to buy your product. And it's also easy for you to sell because you can just proudly sell something that you're definitely passionate about. That way, it's just win-win for you and your audience. Okay, Rahul, what am I supposed to do? I have this 50k followers, I have this 100k followers, 200k followers. I've been optimizing for all these likes for a long time. Now it's time for me to monetize my audience. What am I supposed to do? I understand. That's exactly why I started a community called Creatorpreneur Club. What we actually focus on Creatorpreneur Club, we actually help creators / coaches / experts optimize or turn their content into a marketing machine that helps them turn their audience into a 6-figure online business. Imagine you work so much creating content and then by the end you get like 100k views and likes. That's not a good ROI. If it's 100k rupees, then yeah, I think that's a good way to measure your ROI is great. And it definitely should not take a lot of time because you're already putting so much of time creating content. I definitely don't want you to spend more time on your business. So I'm like, how can you do just the same but tweak a little bit of your content in a way that it attracts customers and then build a sustainable business without you spending so much of time? That's exactly what we are trying to do in Creatorpreneur Club. If you're interested, join the community. We have amazing people inside. Everybody just focusing on just one goal, which is monetizing our audience. So imagine the amount of knowledge and real-time experience you gain in terms of running your own business. Again, the link is in the description. I'll see you inside the community. Thank you so much for watching. We have super limited time.